There you have it. Sights and sounds from the gold medal victory at the Viking Cup. Team Saskatchewan, Team SJHL, I should say. Champions, crowned champions of the 2026 Viking Cup. Extremely proud of everybody there. Welcome into the IKS Media Studios for another edition, the first edition of 2026 of SJHL Weekly. I'm your host, Clark Munroe. We're presented, of course, by our good friends at UPL today as we recap the golden weekend at the Viking Cup. Plus 8 games around the league. We have players of the month for December, players of the week to tell you about. We'll be joined by head coach of the Viking Cup team and, of course, the Estevan Bruins, Drew Kosher, in segment 2. Plus a special appearance from Jacob Faith. This is sad. I'm sad. Outgoing director of marketing of the SJHL, who will be giving us his final farewell today. We'll chat with him at the end of the show. He'll close out the show with us. But first, let's thank our sponsors. Cantera Seeds, Capital Auto Mall, Canalta Hotels, SGEU, Sask Lotteries, UPL, Chevrolet, Great Western Brewing Company, SaskTel, RBC, Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association, and the Viking Cup sponsor, Vaterstad. So thank you to all of our sponsors there. And of course, if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, please do all of the engagements. Hit like, hit share, hit comment, let us know what you want to talk about. If you watched the Viking Cup, let us know your thoughts. Or if you watched one of the games this past weekend, let us know your thoughts. We want to hear from you, but please do the sharing and the retweeting. That really helps us out a lot. But I can't go any farther without bringing in the gold medalist himself, the exhausted Jamie Neugebauer, folks. Welcome to the show, Jamie. Great job in Camrose over the last week and a bit. Unbelievable work by you and the whole team, but congrats celebrating your championship. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it was an awesome time. I know it's one of our segments, and I don't want to ramble, so we'll try to keep things brief. But it was an awesome time. All the credit goes to the players. All the credit goes to Jaden Villafane, the trainer, equipment manager, athletic therapist from the Kindersley Clippers, who was unbelievable. You have an unbelievable guy there for the Clippers. But yeah, 20 guys. I got so much to say.
Yeah, well, we'll let you talk about it in just a second, Jamie. But let's just jump into our headlines. But before we do that, let's look at the recaps from the SJHL games that happened over the weekend. There was 8 games. Let's start all the way back. It's actually 9 games if you count this one. But let's start all the way back on Thursday, because on Wednesday and New Year's Eve, of course, Battleford's got a win over Kindersley and Battlefords, and then Thursday they were in Kindersley and they got another win. We'll talk about that in a moment because they now lead the Nutrien division quite handily, if you want to look at it that way. And then on Friday, there was only 2 games. It was a quieter Friday. The Yorkton Terriers got a big Highway 10 victory over rival Melville. And then Flin Flon started off their weekend with a 5-1 win over Melfort in their home-and-home series. On Saturday, you'll see a similar result. Well, not a similar score, but a similar result in that Flin Flon got a 1-0 win over Melfort there on the bottom. Estevan started their weekend with a 3-1 win over Weyburn in their home-and-home series in the Highway 39 rivalry. Warman with a 7-4 victory over Yorkton. Shout out to Warman there. Nipawin with a 3-2 overtime win over LaRange, their UPL division rival, of course. And then on Sunday, 2 more games. Humboldt with a 3-1 win over Warman, and then Weyburn got their revenge on Estevan for the split of the Bungie division matchup there, of course, the home-and-home series. So a big weekend, a big week. Coming back from the Christmas break, of course. That's our Sask Lotteries look back and our Elk Ridge scorecard, of course. So Nugsy, now that we've gotten the SJ results, we know what happened at the Viking Cup. Let's show our headlines here for the folks on the IKS Live Wire. We're going to start with the Viking Cup because we have to. It's the a big thing. A lot of players celebrated, of course, almost every team represented. So a very cool event for a lot of people. And huge shout out to yourself again, the coaching staff, the management staff that put it all together, the training staff, and everybody in Camrose for putting on the event. It sounded pretty awesome, looked pretty great. But let me get your thoughts, your takeaways from this event.
All right, so I said to my wife over breakfast this morning that I need to keep this organized because I want to talk about absolutely everything and everybody for about 7 hours. We don't have that time. I want to rant and rave.
7 minutes?
I want to rant and rave about all 20 of these kids that took time out of their holiday break and talk about all of them because to a man, they were outstanding. But I organized myself, and so here you go. third period of the gold medal game, going into that third period, they were down 4-2 to the SAIT Trojans, the ACAC team from Calgary, with 13 SJHL alumni, by the way.
Very cool.
On the team. And there you see, here's my voice, I guess, popping in as I put my voice above this. Just a comeback that was for the ages. Apparently, Drew Kosher can ask him about his speech in the second intermission. But it was pretty fun. But yeah, I'll get into my takeaways then here. You can hear me going bananas there in the background. Maybe you guys could turn off the audio. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, maybe just turn it down a little bit.
That would be awesome, or turn it down here. But the first point is come together. These 20 guys, within seconds really of getting on the bus, they were playing cards. They were by the back of the bus. Here's the golden goal, by the way. Josh Sale just went end to end. The rebound to Ethan Andrews of the Estevan Bruins, and then I go absolutely ballistic. So there you go.
Can we turn down the
audio? Turn down the volume and the guys in the back,
guys.
Please.
Oh, it's off on the stream.
Off on the stream.
We're
okay,
hearing
it's just
it.
in my ears. All right, fair enough.
Smart.
Anyways,
you guys are so smart back there.
Very smart back there. All right, so I'll get into my takeaways. They came together. These guys were awesome. All 20 of them. I interviewed Van Egger after the final game. He talked about how they were a unit as a crew. They were thrown together, but they were a unit within moments of being on the bus. Back on the 27th and just come together. And that's what our league is all about. They came together. Second thing is nuts and guts. These guys had character. They never quit in the gold medal game. They could have thrown in the towel. SAIT was a team that, to be fair, the other teams in the tournament had a hard time skating and playing at the same level with our guys. Turner Ripplinger, the assistant coach, chills thinking about coach's second intermission speech, just about how this was the last time that these guys were going to be a team, the last time they were going to be together. They didn't want to have any regrets from this event, and they found a way to beat that, back and beat that team. And lots of nuts and guts, lots of character in that room. And that's what our league is all about. The third thing is the speed and the skill of this group of guys. A lot of people have some negativity, some frustrations with the NCAA rulings and blah, 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 and the SJHL is not good and blah, blah, blah. Well, hey, they just went in 19 20-year-olds and one 18-year-old, by the way, who was the best goalie in the tournament in Brady Holt vote, even though he wasn't given the best goalie of the tournament. They gave that to the SAIT guy that we beat twice. But whatever. Brady Holvo was outstanding, as was Graham Brown, was very good too when he was there too. But my point is, this team came in and beat a bunch of 22, 23, 24-year-olds who were polished, who play together all the time, by the way. Yeah. And these guys had one practice and then played and blew the doors off of the competition. I'm so proud of all 20 of these guys. I want to talk about all 20 of them, the character, just being around them. It was so awesome.
Stay tuned for Noogsy's side podcast talking about each individual.
I'm going to talk about this team for 7 hours. But again, they won't let me do that.
Feel free if you want to record a podcast, by the way.
I might.
We'll post it.
Then two more things. Just as you mentioned, the tournament itself was awesome. Yeah. There were 1 million volunteers everywhere. They said that the rink was as full as it's ever been there in Camrose. Camrose is a wonderful little town, by the way. It's about an hour south of Edmonton. All the amenities, the food was great, lots of gluten-free options for those that know. And this tournament does mean a ton to people that know about it. Obviously, it was the first tournament in 20 years. Put on, it was seamless, went off without a snag. It was super cool. And obviously, winning the gold medal, really topped it all off. And the last thing I'll say about it.
Well, let's show the graphics too as you finish this off. Let's go ahead and show the results.
We'll show the results from the tournament. There you see they beat Midland University from Nebraska 6-2. Then they beat Czechia 7-2. The Czechs were very good. Just in that game, they decided they would try to bully our guys and mug them, and they were trying to be so dirty. And I was just like, I hope our guys don't get hurt. But our guys handled it like with perfect class. And just skated away, took the power plays, and as you can see, we lit them up. Augustana, again, ton of SJHL talent, and it was tight for about the first period, but our guys started to fill the back of the net. And then the games against SAIT were the ones that were good. SAIT, by the way, was 10-2 in the ACAC.
Right.
Their top line of Zach Kane, the former Melville Millionaires captain, Colby Bear, who of course won the championship there with Battlefords, as well as Owen Underhill, who won the championship with Battlefords. That top line was outstanding. Andrew McLean, their goaltender, who was the top goaltender, who is a good goalie, lots of OHL experience. He was good, and so Sate ended up giving the SJHL a real tough time. And obviously the SJHL rallied to win the gold medal game. But 6 of the top 10 scorers at the Viking Cup were SJHL players currently or alumni, and the rest played for Czechia.
That's awesome. That's great.
That was cool. There you see the top scorers for the SJHL. Zayden Saddlemeyer, in every way was outstanding. Forecheck, penalty kill. Best face-off man for sure. The only issue I had all tournament really was, can we win a big face-off? And I think that was an issue. And you're facing 6'3", 205-pound grown men
Strong
on the face-off.
yeah.
And Zayden's obviously not going to win things by being bigger and stronger, anyways. But I think the face-off dot was the one area that they struggled a little bit, but maybe Zayden was the one guy that didn't really struggle. And so you could see also the points he put up, and Oli, whatever it takes for the team. Talked about how perfect he is a fit for Nipawin. He was a perfect fit for this team. He was outstanding. And going on the list, fortunately Noah Asmundsson is the one guy that maybe picked up a little bit of an injury, but played through it, battled through it. And yeah, everybody on the team, except for Boston Harkness, I think, got a point. But even then, Boston Harkness was rock solid, outstanding defensively, did everything he needed to for the team to win. So, overall, just an outstanding experience. Just loved every minute of it. These boys were a treat. I loved calling the games, just being able to call games again, to be around the team, to be media. And the last thing I'll say right now, because again, I could go on for a long time, is so happy for Ethan Andrews to score that golden goal. I get to call a golden goal, and it's my old buddy who I've known really well for a while who scores the golden goal.
Yeah.
What a perfect moment to wrap up a great tournament.
Also, I kind of loved, I can't remember if it was on Twitter or Instagram or where, but Flin Flon snuck in there and said former bomber Ethan Andrews with the golden goal. And I was like, what?
He
played 3 games with them. So Flin Flon trying to snag a little bit of the glory.
He was recruited. Mike Reagan did color for me one game too, which was cool. And,
I heard that was great.
Brett Wheatchester, who was on that Flin Flon team that played Estevan there to Game 7 in the finals in 2022, two-handed Sam Ward at the end of the game. Pretty funny. And Mike Reagan was like, I'm going to have a talk with Weech about that. And then Sam two-handed him back, and apparently he told Sam Ward to have some respect for Bomber alumni. It was kind of a funny moment. But Mike did an awesome job doing color, and I really appreciate it.
That's so funny.
As I
There's
said,
Flin Flon, by the way.
There you go.
As I call them out, they show up. Hey, how's it going, Flin Flon?
Awesome.
Obviously, all in good fun. I'm not calling you out in a bad way. I just thought it was really funny that they took a little bit of the glory on the Ethan Andrews thing, which is awesome.
Yeah. But all 20 of these kids, like, I'm serious. Like, I'm not just trying to, often as media, we have to be nuanced.
Yeah.
We have to say, keep it balanced. Like, these 20 kids were absolutely professional. They listened. They were locked in. I'm sure Drew will tell you, like, whenever he talked about a system or a video, they were just locked right in. We did a tour of the University of Augustana there, and the guys were respectful and were engaged. Like, everything about the way that these guys handled themselves over this thing was exactly as we would have wanted and more. And so all 20 of them, if you're parents of them, send them a text, say proud of you.
Well, one parent's
we're
watching.
Proud of you.
Don Williams is watching.
Williams. They were there, Dan.
Now, am I mistaken, Don? Did I hear you won a big 50-50 during the tournament? Yeah. Oh my!
And I was giving them a little bit of the gears because they only gave Ryland a little bit of money from it. But I guess a couple.
Ryland's money.
And also
Don's
Joey Lee's Antoine also a 50-50. So I'm like, are the 50-50s rigged for people from Flin Flon?
Maybe.
Because obviously Don is from Flin Flon too.
Right.
So
there you go. Well, very, very cool. And one more big shout out to everybody involved and the players. Great job. We'll chat with Drew Kosher in about 15 to 20 minutes here, if we can get through everything else in that amount of time. But we'll chat with Drew next segment to check what he thinks about the whole thing and get his thoughts on it. But Nugsy, I know you could go on, and I would love to let you, but we should probably switch gears and get back into the headlines, is what I'm trying to say. Let's bring up the whole graphic, actually.
And the SJHL was playing at the same time.
The SJHL also played 8 games, our league. So let's bring up the headline graphic one more time, because topic number 2, You're getting some comments, by the way. Topic number 2, nutrient supremacy, Nugsy, while you were gone, while you were busy.
Well, you were gone.
Yeah, the Battleford's North Stars and Kindersley Clippers kicked off our second half of the season with a home-and-home series on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and Battleford's won both of them, Nugsy. And this is a big deal because now they have secured supremacy in the nutrient division. They have a 3-point cushion now over Kindersley. They have a 4-point cushion over Humboldt. And this is so crazy, Nugsy, because I think if you would have asked either of us in October who would be winning or leading the nutrient division in January, early January, I don't think either of us would have said Battleford's. The way Humboldt was playing in October, the way Kindersley was playing early on in this season, I don't think we either of us would have said Battleford's, but man, have they shown over the past 2.5 or so months that they mean business and they're not messing around. They've won 7 of their last 10 games, 2 in a row now, I guess, just with this Kindersley series. But they mean business and they've shown up in this last little while.
Yeah, and you think about these 2 games against Kindersley. Yes, the Clippers did pound Caden Serpo with a whole bunch of rubber, so it wasn't like the Clippers played poorly. But the Clippers also did this without Gavin Granger, who clearly is their best defenseman, and they did this without Anthony Campbell, who is, by the way, clearly their best forward.
Yeah.
And obviously, the Clippers would say the same thing about Russ Demo and Van Egger.
Yeah.
But that being said, I think the Battleford's North Stars have a lot to be proud of at this point and continue to be so. And just the talking to Gavin Granger, especially about what's going on in there, it's very unselfish. It's very whatever I can do to help the team win there in Battleford's. And Connor Logan, again, we didn't know a ton about how he would do as a coach. He was never coached in this league before. Hey, deserves a lot of credit.
Former player, of course, but hasn't
awesome
coached exactly. So you love to see, the young coaching philosophy really kicking in. And it, maybe it took them a month or so into the season to kind of get it rolling. But once they have been hot, like I said, since October, there hasn't been a much hotter team than them.
Is there a kid, sorry for interrupting you, is there a kid in this league that coming into the season we knew less about, we expected less, that's done the most than Finley Klippenstein?
No, yeah, he's the one.
Like, he is the breakout.
He's the guy. He's the breakout guy. I don't know what he's at for goals right now, but it seems like he scores every night.
Yeah.
I think he's at what is he, 19 or 20 or something? Is he at 20 yet?
I asked Owen Lamb if he's human, because again, he scores every night, it
17.
seems like.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, we think so, but we can't confirm.
So this will paint the picture pretty well for you. You look at the Battleford's North Stars stats page.
Yeah.
Finley Klippenstein with 17 goals. The next closest is Carter Gayson with 11.
Oh, man.
11.
He was so good.
Nobody else has 10.
As a call-up against Weyburn in the playoffs last year, Carter Gayson was.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this kid's going to be
He's going to be good, and he is.
And Lincoln Fisher, he played like upwards of 23 minutes a night in these 2 games, as you would expect, especially with Gavin Granger out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of underrated guys on that Battleford team.
Absolutely. But yeah, big performances from Battleford's, and it's a team to watch now going forward. They're in 5th place right now. They're just 1 point back of the Estevan Bruins to possibly move into 4th over this next week or so. So it's going to be a big week. Obviously, the storylines are heating up. But Battleford's is at the top of them. Let's have a look at topic number 3 here. The Highway 39 split. And the reason we say that is because Estevan and Weyburn specifically split their series over the weekend. I was kind of wondering if one team might win both. It would really move a lot in the standings. But with Weyburn winning 1, they're in 2nd place right now. They have a 3-point cushion over Nipawin. Estevan's in 4th. It's 2 of the top 4 teams in the league. They're 30 minutes away from each other on the highway. And it was a series, Nugsy, that I think they play each other a few more times the rest of the way here. Really set the tone as both teams can beat either. They're very, very close in terms of their talent and abilities. And these teams, it's exciting anytime they hit the ice against each other. Again, 2 of the top 4 teams in the league, 2 of the hotter teams in the league, 2 of the better offensive teams in the league, 2 of the better defensive teams in the league. So it is really an interesting thing that maybe we could see this as a potential, the way things are lining up. If all goes well for both teams, this could be a 2nd round matchup.
Yeah.
Wow.
Could be a final. I don't know.
Could be a final.
Why not? Gunnar Moore, by the way, what a shot for your first ever goal. What a call up there.
Yeah.
Obviously, the biggest story from this series was the news off ice, sort of a news notes teaser, I guess. Joey Rocha from the Swift Current Broncos to play goal there for the Weyburn Red Wings, and he jumped in right away and was awesome right away there for Weyburn. And there was, I don't need to, it's not really big news to say that it's a serious rivalry between these two. Just being around Josh Sale and being around Drew Moldy and obviously Koch and Williams and Ethan Andrews and Asmundsson.
Yep.
Like there's a big time dislike between those two groups of players, and that makes it really fun when the playoffs come around. Both of these teams were missing significant pieces, obviously, because of the Viking Cup, especially Esteban without their head coach. Certainly the people in the area are in for a treat the more these two play each other. And the fact that there was a split, the fact that there were two tight games is no big surprise. And, I think probably the Weyburn Red Wings played better both nights. Again, obviously Dylan Adams, outstanding goaltender, maybe the underrated goaltender in the league. And you think about these two teams too, Clark, it doesn't seem like there's going to be a Viking Cup next year, like it's going to be an every 2-year thing if it keeps going. So it does suck to me that the 06s won't get as highlighted, but you think about a Dylan Adams from Estevan, you think about obviously Callis Pierce from Weyburn, maybe Joey Rocha. Oh no, Joey's in 05, but you think about Callis Pierce for Weyburn, like those guys could be two important guys. Could have been two important guys for the 06 Viking Cup team. But hey, it's going to be an arms battle, and I'm sure both Cody Mapes and Drew Kosher, as we approach the trade deadline in 5 days, will continue to try to build that arms race because they both have good cores.
I'm going to tease it right now. I don't know if Drew is logged in and he's watching. He might be watching. I'm going to tease it right now. I'm going to ask Drew. I'm not going to get an answer, but I'm going to ask him about his trade deadline thoughts.
He was on the phone a lot in Camrose. So I don't know who he was talking to.
I know I'm not going to get an answer, but I'm going to ask because it's an intense. Me and Nugsy are going to go into a little bit more depth on this on Thursday's episode of SJHL Insider. So teaser there if you guys are interested in a little bit more trade talk. We're not going to do a ton today. Thursday we'll go deeper into it for Insider. But this year, and I've been working in the league now for 4 years, following the league for longer. But this is an interesting year, Nugsy, for teams that think they have a chance. Because I personally believe there is 9 teams that fully believe they have a chance. There's a 10th team that thinks they're not out of it yet.
There's a 10th team that has the talent. Shouldn't be out of it.
So to me, it's like there are 9 out of 12 teams in this league that are buyers, like potentially heavy buyers or want to be. So it's going to be an arms race, but I just don't know what's available. Who knows? Especially within our league, it's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough.
So it's going to be a very, very. What I'm saying is it's going to be a very interesting 5 or 6 days here as we kind of figure out who can do something, who will do something, who's out there that will send something in or whatever. It's going to be interesting. That's all I'm going to say. It's a teaser. We'll get more in depth on this on Thursday's show.
Sure.
Let's get into topic number 4 here, because this actually has something to do with what we were just talking about. But Melfort losing 2 to the Flin Flon Bombers. We're calling it the Stangs Gut Punch because this was a big weekend for the Melfort Mustangs. They started the weekend 7 points out of a playoff spot. Luckily for them, they're not that much farther today than they were because Humboldt only had the 1 game. But they did pick up a win, so now they're 9 points out of a playoff spot. Now, of course, we could look at the positives at this and talk about Flin Flon. We've done a lot of that lately. I think the bigger story here, yes, Flin Flon has won 5 straight games. They've won 8 of their last 10 games. They have a 3-point cushion for first. Shout out to Flin Flon, okay?
Yeah.
Let's get that out of the way. Great job, Flin Flon. You guys are really good. And they didn't have Joey Lees. They didn't have Sam Ward. They didn't have Reed Arbery. And they still got the 2 wins. But the big story, I think, coming out of this is going to have to be that Flin Flon lost another 2 games. Melfort lost another 2 games. And they're running out of time. They only have 1 game left now until the January 10th deadline. And that's against Yorkton on Friday. And they're, again, 9 points out of a playoff spot. They've lost 6 of their last 10. I guess 7 if you include the overtime loss. So where do we sit here, Nugsy, today as Melfort, as we look at Melfort? Because to me, they're kind of, I'm going to say, the linchpin on what could be either a slow deadline or a very, very interesting trade deadline. Because I think they have an opportunity to retool on the fly. but also they don't want to consider themselves sellers, I don't think either.
Yeah, well,
It's an interesting topic.
They've scored the second fewest goals in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, by a wide margin. Like, actually, you look at it, Warman is in 10th with 93 goals scored.
Yeah.
Melfort's in 11th with 78.
Right. It's a
And
big
then
gap.
So it's a big gap, and Larange is even behind that at 71. And they scored one over the two days here against Flin Flon. Of course, we know Flin Flon doesn't allow goals.
Yeah.
They have scored the most goals, given up the second fewest goals.
Yeah.
So that's a good recipe for success. But yeah, certainly, Madden Malacca and Kaysen Kabelka have kept the Mustangs in. They kept them in it for the most part in these two games too. But yeah, I don't know. It's a real puzzler. I talked to Rick Oakes obviously a lot. He was the GM of Team SJHL of Viking Cup, and I said, "What is going on, man?" And he's like, "Yeah, we're scratching our heads too. Like, the talent level is absolutely there. It's just not producing." And you talk about bringing guys in. Well, sometimes the old guys look at the new guys and say, "Okay, well, you're here now. You figure it out." And the new guys are like, "Oh, well, we're new in this league. We're trying to figure it out too." And so I think there's a lot of it's just not working, whatever it is. And I'm sure Trevor Blevins is trying to find answers. So if Trevor Blevins doesn't have the answer, then I certainly don't have the answer. So I'm not going to sit here and make anything else up.
We'll talk more about it on Thursday for sure. But it is something where
I don't know what to say.
When I look
it's
at the
bizarre.
It is.
Look at their roster. It's so deep.
When I look at the Melfort roster, there are a bunch of guys on there that I want on my team. Let's just say that. And I think there's 9 teams, like I said earlier, chomping at the bit, saying there are a lot of guys I want on my team.
Well,
but at the same time, thanks, Jordan. That's a great reference. This ain't the SJHL ain't a scene, it's an arms race. That's a song reference. Fall Out Boy. I just listened to it on the drive on the weekend, actually. But when I look at Melfort, I say there's a lot of guys. They also have some really good 06s. They have some really good 07s. Especially their goaltenders, 06 and 07.
Yeah.
So if you think about the chance they have to retool and bring those guys into next year as 20-year-olds or as veteran leaders, there's an opportunity where Melfort could have a really quick turnaround here. I still believe that.
Yeah.
And again, when we talked to Rick Oakes on this show, or on Insider, I can't remember which show it was, we had him on a few weeks ago, we looked back at their back-to-back championships in 2015 and 2016. In 2017, they finished in 10th. That's where they are right now.
Yeah.
They immediately rebounded the year after and went on another big run of success. So to me, it's like it's happened before.
I still believe
it's hard to go 3 years in a row.
Yeah, it is hard, and then I still believe there's something to it where if you're the coach of Canada West, it's not that easy to give all of your attention to your team. As much as they're trying, it has to have had an impact.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But watching Bo Eisner and Zayden Saddlemeyer, I was like, geez, these guys are really good. And Zayden, he was a tournament all-star.
Yeah.
He was the forward of the tournament. He did everything. He was the guy that I didn't know was this good before this tournament.
Right.
Like, I knew he was good. I've watched him plenty. I didn't know he was this good.
Yeah.
And he was in every single way: maturity, leadership, character, talent, speed. He was a dog on the forecheck. Like, he did everything so well at this tournament, and I was just blown away. So.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll dive more into the Melfort Mustang situation on Thursday. Things might be a little bit clearer by that point. Probably not. But we'll talk a little bit more about it on Thursday. So make sure you tune in.
We'll find out. It'll be clear when we do a recap.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next week on this show. We'll have a better idea of what the we'll have a better idea. Anything you want to touch on for odds and ends? I mean, I know Yorkton, Warman got a win over Yorkton, Humboldt got a win over Warman.
I just want to actually say more like Russ Demo. Defenseman of the tournament.
Sure.
Good for him as well. He was the talk of, I was trying to call him Bobby a bit at the tournament because he looked like Bobby Orr in the first couple of games. He was
very
absolutely
good.
Everywhere for Team SJHL, especially the first half of the tournament. He was a real menace. And boy, oh boy, if there was a funniest kid in the SJHL award, Rusty Demo has a good opportunity.
He's in there?
He's definitely in the mixer.
All right, well, we're getting him on the show.
He is hilarious.
Russ, you're coming on the show.
I can see how that Kindersley room is just a gong show in terms of being like a bunch of hilarious people. So Rusty took the cake.
Well, I will say, looking at Kindersley right now, they are 3-7 in their last 10. They've lost their last 3 games, including before the break. I think they'll be happy to get Russ Demo and Van Hager back on the roster. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
All right, well, Nugsy, we didn't do the Tourism Saskatchewan highlight of the week, so we're gonna bring it back. It's the Ethan Andrews golden goal, and this time when you watch it, you're gonna hear this guy's golden voice. So here we go.
Sale turns on the Jets. Going wide, he shoots. Save. Rebound. Andrews! He scores! He scores! Ethan Andrews with the winner! And the SJHL takes the Viking Cup here in 2026. What a finish here for Team SJHL. They win it. Ethan Andrews on a beautiful finish, beautiful rush, and it is over.
Talking to director Jordan, graphics director, or audio director, I should say, Jordan, before the show, he said, he was watching that clip and he's like, I always find it so fascinating how quickly guys can whip their helmets and gloves off when they win something like this.
Well, Ethan struggled a little bit, if we're being honest.
But it is impressive. And the one thing I've always wondered about is when guys throw their helmet like 12 feet in the air, the chances of it coming down and hitting another guy on the head or something like that is high, and I've never seen it happen.
Yeah.
How does it never happen? I don't know.
Great question.
It's wild. Big shout out to Chevrolet, of course, our highlight package sponsor. It's time now, though, for Nugs and Notes. You ready? I guess I kind of threw it at you really quickly there.
And notes. Well, Josh Sale at the year-end, we had a sort of New Year's Eve banquet sort of thing, and then had to give a little speech at the front, and it was Rick Oakes who gave a little speech from our organization, but Josh Sale was like, you should have got little Nugsy up there, and little Nugsy giving the speech. That would have been awesome. Josh Sale is hilarious too, by the way.
That's
Really
so
like
funny.
talking to him. All right, just a couple things. First and foremost, congratulations to Troy Murray. Former SJHL ref, of course, the husband of current SJHL ref Sienna Murray, pardon me, who's going off to the Olympics as well, I should say. But Troy's going to be reffing the World Juniors final tonight between Czechia and Sweden.
Nice.
So very cool, and that should be a heck of a hockey game.
He was my defensive partner in Pee Wee.
Oh,
just a
there you
fun
go.
fact.
Well, there you go. Now he's reffing at the World Junior Gold Medal game. Very cool.
Yep.
Bunch of moves. The two that I'm going to highlight. One, Alexander Coventry, the 2006 defenseman, is coming to Battlefords as if they needed help right now. From Bonnyville in the AJ, he's got 65 games in the AJ. Big 6'7" right shot defenseman. I'd love to see him and Cohen Loney shed him. We'll see what happens. We're not trying to promote fighting here, but him and Cohen Loney in the West Sask rivalry. Maybe a basketball game too would be fun.
Yeah.
He used to play he was a rookie in the BCHL too, so I guess he's moving one league at a time.
Sure.
One season over. And then the
We
last.
hope he sticks here.
Yeah, well, no, it sticks here, and he'll be a big contributor for the Battlefords North Stars. And Hunter Motley, 20-year-old forward from Wainwright, Alberta. And he's 130 games in the Alberta Junior League between Whitecourt and Olds. He's coming to Kindersley, who of course just lost Avery Johnson, so they needed some pieces back up front. He has 16 goals over that 130 games. For the 20-year-old Hunter Motley. He also played a game for the mighty Wainwright Bisons, the Junior B Wainwright Bisons, who are a wagon in Alberta Junior B hockey. And we drove through Wainwright, Alberta, on the way to Camrose in a blizzard. So there you go.
There you go.
Nugs and notes.
Fantastic. Thank you. Did you see any pronghorns on the road through Alberta?
No, I just saw lots of snowflakes.
Okay, fair enough. I was at the Winnipeg Zoo over the weekend, and there was pronghorns, and they said how they're from Alberta.
You were on a vacation, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I was in Winnipeg over the weekend.
What that
it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Anyways, you know what we didn't do, Nugsy? Let's do it right now. Let's just have a quick look at the standings as we before we go to the break, because I know we have our guest Drew Kosher in and ready to roll. So Flin Flon, as you can see, first place with a 3-point cushion over the Weyburn Red Wings with 44 points. Nipawin with 41. As you can see, there's a little bit of a games played discrepancy there in the top 5. Nipawin with 31 games, Weyburn 32, Flin Flon 33. Estevan also with 32 games with 39 points. So again, so much can change here in the next week or so. So it's going to be tough, but all these teams are right in the mix. Battleford's one of the hotter teams lately. Only 29 games played, so they have 4 games in hand on Flin Flon, which is interesting. Not that they could catch them with 4 points, but they get close. They have 38 points right now. Yorkton with 36 points in 30 games. The Kindersley Clippers with 35 points. They're in 7th. Humboldt with 34. They're in 8th. And then Melville's on the outside right now looking in with 32 points. They get back into action this week, so we'll get into that later. And then the Melfort Mustangs with 25. They sit in 10th. Warman with 20 now. They've eclipsed 20 points, Nugsy, in 11th. And then Larange with 16 in 12th.
I guess I was Warman's representative at the Viking Cup.
You were. Yeah, congrats.
Sorta.
And you got a medal. So there you go. Let's look at the division standings. As we mentioned earlier, we'll start on the right today. I usually go left to right, but let's start with the right because as I mentioned earlier, Battleford's now leads the Nutrien division. That is a tight division still, but as you can see, the 2 teams below them, Kindersley and Humboldt, only 3 wins each in their last 10 games. So some stuff's got to change there. We'll see what happens there in the next little while. The Bungie division, Weyburn leads right now, but Estevan's right behind them, and they have both been very good. So is Yorkton. And honestly, look at Melville. So is Melville. They've all been good. The Bungie division continues to be the top division in this league with 4 potential playoff teams. I know Melville's on the outside right now, but boy, they have been playing good lately. So we'll see what happens here as the season gets back going after the Christmas break. And then the UPL division, Flin Flon and Nipawin lead the way with Melfort and Larange at the bottom. So there you go. There's your division standings. Look, let's hit a break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by the champion, head coach of the Viking Cup with Team SJHL, and of course, head coach and general manager of the Estevan Bruins, Drew Kosher. Stick around.
The Price Beat Guarantee is back at Capital GMC in Regina. We will beat any price on any new vehicle from any competitor, or you get $500 cash guaranteed. The Price Beat Guarantee at Capital GMC in Regina.
At Vatterstad, we're partnering with North American farmers to create the perfect emergence. We're doing this with new and innovative tillage, planting, and seeding solutions, optimized for the field conditions that you face, and with industry-leading capacities to help you get the job done in short windows of time, so you can maximize yields. Vatterstad, we look forward to growing together.
Mister.
Every ticket you buy funds programs all across Saskatchewan, like sports. Buy your tickets today.
In the last decade, the construction industry has reduced injuries by 46%. That's as many injuries prevented that would fill several stadiums. Find out more at scsaonline.ca.
Feeling like your dreams are out of reach? RBC has programs and resources to help you open the door. With RBCX Music, RBC Training Ground, and RBC Scholarships, your idea of your highest potential happens here.
Original 16. Celebrate things done well.
All right, welcome back inside SJHL Weekly. We're going to be joined on the video chat in like 3 seconds by our guest. Drew Kosher. But just if you guys can put up the comment from Don Williams there. We were talking just before the break about guys throwing their helmets and stuff into the air, and Don Williams says, Willie put his down so gingerly. And that leads to my first question for our guest. So let's bring him in now, Drew Kosher. Drew, we saw the video of the golden goal by Estevan Bruins defenseman Ethan Andrews at the Viking Cup, and we saw all the helmets and gloves flying. What was your reaction on the bench when that all went down?
Yeah, I obviously the play developed. We got off ice. We made a nice play, and good shot by Ethan there. And we talked about it all the time. We joked about it after. He goes, "Hey, I shot far pad," and pad passed to himself, and then he buried it. And I looked at Rip, and that was it. Quick hug, and yeah, we were excited.
That's awesome. And of course, Turner's coming off a pretty serious knee injury. How did he hold up throughout the entire event there, Drew?
He was good. He moved well. He was awesome. The great assistant coach to have there. Ran the PK. It definitely got better as the tournament got going on there. And yeah, couldn't have done it with a better guy.
That's awesome. Big fan of Turner, of course. And so let's talk about the tournament as a whole. I don't know if you've had a great chance to reflect. It's happened. It feels like it just ended, and we're on the bus getting home and everything. So I'm sure it's been a whirlwind. But give us your reflections of the tournament now that you've had about 24 hours or so to recuperate.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, long day yesterday coming home. It was about 9 hours or whatever it was, and the whole tournament itself was, it was awesome. Right from the first practice to obviously all the success that we had during the week. All the volunteers, they did a great job. We had so much fun, and obviously the success was just obviously that's a cherry on the top. But the group came together real quick, and we had talked about some kind of some core mentalities that we put in the room, and for short events, we have to click right away, get after it right away, kind of thing, and and we did that, right? We had success early and often, and we found a way.
People talk about how much does coaching help, how much percentage is it the players. Looking back, obviously, you think about the second intermission, Drew. You walk into that room in the gold medal game. It's 4-2. The second period was not very good. I'm sure you would agree. And I understand you made the speech of your life. So maybe take us into the room there and give us a bit of a blow-up. Maybe every word. No, I'm just kidding. But Blake, what was it like in that locker room?
Yeah, you know what? I had walked into the room, and obviously, the second period wasn't great for us. And we were down 2, and I kind of looked down the room, and we had talked about this is the only time that this group's ever going to be together ever again. They're all 20. They're all playing together. They've worked so hard, every day, all week. We all knew what the goal was, and I felt that we looked a little tired at times in that period. And I had said, whatever we have left in this tank, do it. Empty the tank, but do it for the guy beside you. Do it for a guy that you're not going to play with again. It's going to be a lifetime memory. And there were some chills in the room a little bit there, and then Rip had he dropped the last dance line there about we need to be kind of how we have been all tournament, and that was just being like hyenas on the bench and being loud and chirping away, and being that blue collar hockey team that we are, and obviously the last 20 minutes and the extra time spoke for itself, and we found a way.
Yeah, for sure. Now, obviously, being in the room, one of the first thing I noticed was all the players, how closely they were listening to you whenever you were going over a system or going over a point that you were trying to hit. Like, these guys were so locked in. They were listening. You say, good morning, man. They were all like, yeah, like right in there. How much of a treat was it? I'm sure you've got an incredible group of guys there in Estevan too. But how much of a treat was it? These guys are all leaders on their team. It must have been a fun time to be a hockey coach there too.
Yeah, like that was the coolest part too. Like just when we had our video sessions, or we saw them in the morning, or we're on the bench. Like they're all mature. They're all leaders on their own teams. They're all great kids and great players, and they really wanted to win. And especially after the success we had after the first game, they were not looking back. They wanted to win that gold medal as bad as anyone, and really saw as the tournament as the tournament got on. And we had a goal in mind. And that was the biggest thing that we had put up in the room. There was kind of we before me. We're gonna do this together and not do it by ourselves. And that was obviously the success that we had. But they were so focused. They're all mature. They're all really good players, and all those teams that have those guys, they're very fortunate to have them because they're great young men and all really good players.
Yeah, for sure, and it was really cool for me to just watch too. I was like amazed by every one of them. I got to ask you too about coaching philosophy in this tournament. A lot of the kind of the grizzled old guys that come to tournaments are like, oh, the younger coaches, what they do, they make a mistake, they skate too much, they throw too much at the kids, da da da. It seemed like you kind of hit a really good balance of keeping the guys kind of locked in and also giving them the rest they need. How much of that, was intentional on your part?
Yeah, for us, I really thought that we had like I said, the first game was really good, the second game was good, and then we had kind of the option to go on the ice, and we had about 10 minutes on the ice of we ran through some ozone, plays, and then we did some quick power play PK, and then we were off, and then we had the rest of the day off, and then the next day we played, and I remember, obviously we were tired and we were exhausted. We only had 20 players, right? So I remember I had asked Jay and I said, hey, like, how are the guys feeling? And they were pretty quiet. Like, I don't think they wanted to skate, and our ditch wasn't done. And so I had went back in the room and I had said, hey, like, do you guys not want to skate today? And they kind of didn't want to like say anything. I'm like, guys, like, just be honest. Like, if you're exhausted, just tell me, and I have no problem not going today. We've earned the day off, and so took the day off there and won the next game, and then obviously the rest is history. But I really think managing shift length, managing injuries, managing time on ice, and just managing that rest period that we get. So definitely was a long week, but when you had those days off, you try to take advantage of the day off and rest and heal, and then kind of get ready for the next games.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, you're the head coach and general manager of the Estevan Bruins, too. And they played a couple of games while you were gone, obviously getting back into the swing of things here. So if we can switch gears now back into the SJ, I would love to keep talking about the Viking Cup.
Okay, well, I'm leaving.
Yeah, see you, Jamie. But obviously a split with Weyburn. Let's start there. From the reports that you got or from the news that you got, or if you were able to maybe tune into a bit of it, what were your thoughts on the split with Weyburn this weekend?
Yeah, the Saturday game, we were playing the same time, so I didn't get a chance to watch or listen to it. But, my staff said that we played really well. They had said DA had played really well in the net, and, Gunner scoring his first in the SJ. I had watched some of the tape actually this morning a little bit, and, big win for us Saturday at home. And then we had the quick matinee game on Sunday. I listened to most of it on the way home, and they just felt that, we were kind of late to pucks on certain things, and just wasn't our best night on Sunday afternoon there. But to get a split was obviously very important, just with how tight the league is, and getting any points is always great. But for us now, obviously it's we have kind of a 4 or 5 days off here before we get back out of here, and right after the deadline here, coming up pretty soon here.
Yeah, and I guess that leads me to my next question, if you don't mind. And obviously, you can't probably give me too many details, but coming into the season, Drew, I don't know myself personally. I can't speak for Nugsy, but I don't know if I had you guys necessarily at this spot in the standings in fourth. I mean, very strongly in fourth as well, not just flukily in fourth, like very permanently and solidly in fourth. Coming into the trade deadline now, how has your attitude been in terms of any tinkering or needs or wants? What does this week maybe look like for you? Thankfully, obviously, you have a few days off before Friday. You have a home and home or a series with Warman coming up this weekend, both in Warman, so you'll be on the road. But what's your attitude going into the deadline on the 10th here?
Yeah, for us, we obviously we spent a lot of time this morning with the staff on the phone, and obviously we like our group, but we're definitely looking to tinker a little bit, nothing crazy, but looking to add some pieces if we can. We think we have a really good hockey team, and we have a chance to do some special things this year with our group. And for us, it's just kind of make sure that we add the right guy or two, and add the right piece, and kind of see what happens over the next 48 to 72 hours.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I also got to ask you, obviously you got to have, Rylan Williams and Ethan Andrews and Noah Asmundsson with you at the event, just as their coach, a guy that you've been around for a long time. Oh, turn off the lights. Hey, my question is so intense that the light turned itself off.
He's done. He's out.
Talk about you must have been so proud, of the way those three guys especially played, given how you know them day in, day out.
Yeah, super happy for him. Ryle and Ethan and Noah, they had a great showing at the event. They're obviously a big part of our group here in Estevan, and to see them have the success that they had at the tournament, play with some really good hockey players as well, and to see them, have the success that we had all week, and just the smiles on their faces, and to see that we had won. Obviously, the gold medal was super awesome for them, and that's a lasting memory that they'll have for the rest of their lives.
All right, last one for you, Drew, and then we'll let you get some rest or whatever you have planned for this afternoon. But 6-4 in your last 10 games. Like I said, you guys have been humming for a while now. 4th place. You got a series up in Warman this weekend. What's the message to the team this week and then heading into the weekend?
Yeah, for us, probably, obviously we'll get through the deadline here and then kind of see where we're at. And then for us, it's kind of just going to be all hands on deck, and every win and every point means something. So just trying to get back on track here, so to speak. And for us, it's we want to kind of keep the same continued success that we have had in the first half, moving forward the rest of the way, and build off some good habits all the way down to the playoffs, hopefully, and kind of see where the chips lay.
Absolutely. Well, Drew, thanks so much, and congratulations on the championship win at the Viking Cup. And I'm sure we'll talk to you again down the road with the Bruins as you guys make a run here. So I'll let you get back to it, but thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, fellas. Anytime.
There we go. Drew Kosher. What a guy. What a chat.
Yeah.
And again, we probably could have gone a little bit longer, too, on the Viking Cup stuff with him. So many cool things coming out of that tournament. But one other cool thing I thought, too, just the fact, like you mentioned it, he mentioned it as his second intermission speech that we're now making famous. But, these guys, as of today, they're all enemies again, for the most part. I mean, some of them are teammates, but I hope the teammates aren't enemies.
Yeah.
But
Just become best friends. Yep.
yeah, exactly. They all have this now lasting thing that they can only share with each other.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. And the funniest part, not the funniest part, but a funny part of it, you mentioned it earlier, but having the 2 Red Wings on a line with Ernest Van Bruin.
Yeah, that was cool.
The fact that they were able to play so well together too, all tournament. It's just it's a cool thing that it just doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
You can't say it happens very often.
Like, these guys were thrown together.
Yeah.
As I said, the thing that I had the concern about was that cohesion, and the power play especially had its ups and downs. But the chemistry off the ice, the joking, the fun, the guys, giving each other a hard time about things, like it just was what you'd think. You put a bunch of Saskatchewan junior hockey players together, and it was super cool. There was a moment I did an interview, a long interview, which you can find on the SJHL Media podcast page with Gavin Granger and Anthony Campbell, and they were talking about the rivalry with Kindersley, and Gavin just straight up said, "Yeah, I don't have any or anything. I dislike Kindersley totally as an organization, as the players on the team." He's like, "I don't like them at all, but they were here together, and actually him and Russ Demo were a terrific pairing for the tournament." I mean, it wasn't on purpose. I think it just worked out because of lefty and righty and style and whatever. But the pairs were all division pairings throughout the whole tournament. Drew didn't really make too many changes, except for when they were down to 11 forwards at one of the games in terms of the lineups. But it all worked out. It all worked out super well. And even the golden goal. Last thing I'll say, the golden goal. Josh Sale takes the puck away from a Seat guy, goes down the ice, shoots it. The rebound goes to Estevan's Ethan Andrews. Yeah. Bing bang boom. So Weyburn guy set up an Estevan guy for the winner. So eat your heart out, Highway 39 folks. There you go.
How can you not be romantic about hockey?
I love it.
All right, we're going to take another break. And when we come back, we got Players of the Month for December. We have Players of the Week, and we're going to be joined for a final farewell from our Director of Marketing, Jacob Faith. Stick around.
Feeling left out of can't-miss moments? RBC has programs and resources to help you open the door. RBC clients get access to concerts, Avion rewards, and exclusive benefits. Your idea of memorable moments happens here.
Each year, the SCSA issues over 10,000 training certificates to the construction professionals who build our province. That is the same population as Weyburn. Learn more at scsaonline.ca.
ticket you buy funds programs all across Saskatchewan, like arts and culture. Buy your tickets today.
Introducing SaskTel Student Saving Tips. Tip number 138. You could build your own pallet furniture.
So you're living on your own. You can save money by building furniture with pallets.
Or get Infinite 150 for only $50 a month with SaskTel Student Deals.
Original 16. Celebrate things done well.
All right, welcome back inside SJHL Weekly. It's the first one of 2026, which means we have to look back at 2025 for our Players of the Month for December. So let's get after it now for Players of the Month and week. We'll do week after. And Nugsy, feel free to chime in as we talk about these guys. But we'll start with the SGEU MVP of the month. This is December. This is month. Callus Pierce of the Weyburn Red Wings, 6 goals in 7 games played. Of course, this is going to be a smaller sample size than most of our months because December obviously is missing about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, depending on how you look at it. So 7 games is going to be kind of the maximum amount of games you really see here. But 6 goals, 9 points in 7 games. Callus Pierce, a big catalyst for offense for the Weyburn Red Wings. The Borgo forward of the week. We're going to go down the road a little bit to the Yorkton Terriers and Gabriel Corshane, back-to-back forward of the months for Borgo. Yeah. So shout out to Gabriel.
Can I just quickly say, that you mentioned those 2 guys, 206s, obviously, in our league. I heard during the show that there might be a Viking Cup next year.
Oh, what?
So you're saying there's a chance.
You heard both things.
When I was there, they said, oh, the Augustin is going to go to Czechia next year, blah, 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 instead, and then have it the year after. But maybe it went so well. Bing, bang, boom. And maybe we'll see Gabe Corshane and Callus Pierce.
Well, those would be 2 really good players to have, I'd say. The Super U defenseman of the month for December, we're going to Warman, Fearson Lindorf. What a month for him. 8 points in 5 games. And, you know, Warman put a couple wins on the board, so good for them. And great performance for Fearson Lindorf.
The man I call Lindros.
Yeah, Lindros, exactly. The SaskTel goalie of the month, Callum Craig of the Yorkton Terriers. Yorkton getting a couple awards here for December. A 3-0-0-1 record with a 223 and a 934 save percentage, Nugsy. Callum Craig, a big reason why Yorkton had a really solid month.
Could he be another guy on Team SJHL at the Viking Cup next year?
Holy cow. I wouldn't hate it. The Sask Milk Rookie of the month. Could this be another guy for next year? Finley Klippenstein, he's an 06. 6 goals in 6 games. Like we said, this guy just seems like he scores every single night. What a player, and a big reason Battlefords has been able to put up such a solid couple of months here. He's just literally scoring every night. He scores a lot. And then the Cantera Seeds Sask Player of the Month. We'll go to Humboldt. Connor Miller, 7 points in 5 games, and a big kind of a sense of stability with this guy, with this team, in a team that hasn't really had a ton, it seems, in the last 15 or so, 20 games. He's been a source of that, so hopefully maybe he'll be a part of them really figuring it out.
06
Another guy. Oh man, this could be a fun segment the rest of the year.
Hey, this skill level of the 06 forwards in our league is ridiculous.
We're going to do a segment called Another Guy, sponsored by, insert sponsor here, but we'll have to figure out that. We'll have to figure that out. Another guy. Okay, let's move over to the Players of the Week now for our last week. There's our month of December. Let's look at this past week. We'll play that again. Thank you, guys. I always love the days where you have to do both in one show because it's just like 12 back-to-back straight. Great performances, and we'll start with Caden Serpa, the SGEU MVP of the week. Of course, a lot of teams didn't even play 2 games. Some teams didn't play at all. So we have a very small sample size for this week, but Caden Serpa was clearly the MVP of the week. 2 wins, 78 saves against Kindersley. Back-to-back nights, by the way. 951 save percentage, 2 goals against.
Because Steele Bass was still with Prince Albert, with their goalie being the Czechia goalie.
Right, there you go. Well, how about that? So there you go, Caden Serpa. The Borgo forward of the week. We'll stick with Battlefords. It's Carter Gayson. He's got 4 points in 2 games against Kindersley, and like Nugsy said, we saw him last year in the playoffs. Very impressive player, and he's got 11 goals. He's second on the team in goals this year. So a great performance there by Carter Gayson. The Super U defenseman of the week, Lincoln Fisher. We're sticking with North Stars. Lincoln Fisher, 2 points in 2 games against Kindersley. A great performance and a lot of defensive minutes logged as well. A ton of ice time over the 2 games. So a big shout out to Lincoln Fisher there. Drew Kosher mentioned him, the SaskTel goalie of the week. We're going with Dylan Adams. So Caden Serpa gets the MVP. Dylan Adams gets the goalie. He had 34 saves on 35 shots against Weyburn in the win. 971 save percentage, of course, that's the math on that. And he only let in 1 goal. So there you go. Big performance by Dylan Adams. We'll stick with the goaltenders. We'll go to the Sask Milk Rookie of the Week, and we're going with Finn Werner of the Flin Flon Bombers. He had a 36 save shutout against the Melfort Mustangs on, was that Saturday? I think it was Saturday. And you know, that was a dagger for Melfort too, like we talked about earlier on in the show. So a big performance there by Finn Werner.
I said to Riggs, I was like, boy, Everett's got to be happy with his development playing with you, right? He said, I hope they're not too happy.
I hope they're not paying too much attention.
Because Finn has been unbelievable.
Yeah, he has been very good. Yeah. And the Cantera Seeds Saskatchewan Player of the Week, we're going to Yorkton. It's Cash Lanigan. He could have been the Rookie of the Week too, but we gave him the Saskatchewan Player of the Week for Cantera Seeds. So there you go. There's all 12 of our Players of the Month and Week for the last little while there. And let's bring it back into the studio as the player of the last while, let's call it. Jacob Faith, the Director of Marketing now for what, 4 years? This is your 4th season?
Fourth full year, yeah.
4th full year, and you are leaving us for a new opportunity with the University of Regina. Very cool stuff. But let's just start.
You have until tomorrow to change your mind, Jacob.
Don't boo them. They're booing you in the back. No, don't boo them.
They're heartless back there.
But Jacob, obviously, your face is well known because you've been in.
And because it's nice looking.
Wow, sure.
Thank you. You're the face of the SJHL, though, dude.
That's true. That's true. But Jacob, obviously, what I was trying to say was that you've been to over 200 games. You've been in all the communities. You're always around. So a lot of people know you to see you, which is always a good sign of an employee of the league. So I just want to give you kudos for that.
Oh, thank you.
But a lot of hard work put in over the last 4 years. You're moving on. When you first think, when you made this decision, what were your initial reflections of the last 4 years?
Just all the people around the SJHL. Like it really is a very bittersweet day here today. I've gotten a lot of text messages, a lot of love from, you know, even people that haven't been in the SJHL for a couple of years. You know, former coaches and broadcasters sending me texts and congratulations. But the relationships made over the last 4 years, you know, memories to last a lifetime. You know, I think back to, you know, before I was even officially in this role as an intern, that Flin Flon versus Estevan series was that 2002 finals.
2022.
Yeah,
2002.
It feels like 2002.
You've been an intern for 20 years.
Hey, you know, thinking back to that, like that was like my first time, you know, going into a lot of these SJHL rinks, and you know, I was on the phone with Rob Hart. I did an interview with him about an hour ago, and you know, when he asked me like what my favorite memory about the SJHL, and I said that Game 6 in Flin Flon was unbelievable. But you know, I think you know, when I got hired 4 years ago, Commissioner Kyle McIntyre just came on the role, and we had to fill this role. And you know, it's really just been a really good you know, partnership and professional relationship between Kyle and myself. And you know, over the course of the last few years, you know, probably around, you know, 60 sponsors, and you know, every one of them has just been unbelievable to work with. All the fans, when I see you in the rinks, you're always saying hi, and you know, it's really bittersweet to leave, but you know, very excited to continue my professional career with the University of Regina. A little bit of less travel, less highway miles. I know my co-pilot here, Nugsy, you'll be, you know, maybe Clark, you'll be driving.
I might have to jump in a little bit more and drive.
But
we'll
yeah, just memories to last a lifetime, and lifelong friendships and relationships. And you know, just thank you to everybody involved, all the sponsors, all the fans, all the players, coaches. just everybody. It's been awesome.
Well, you came in about the same time I did. To IKS's partnership started around the same time that Kyle and you jumped into your roles. So I've seen you firsthand for the whole time, and a lot of what you see, sponsorship-wise, a lot of all that stuff is because of a lot of the work that Jacob has put in. So a big kudos to Jacob. What's going to be your new role? Like, what exactly are you going to be doing with the university?
It's going to be similar to what I've been doing with the SJHL. So
Nice.
the title is the Manager of Sponsorship and Advancement. First day tomorrow, so I'll get a better idea of it tomorrow. But I think it's going to be pretty similar working with sponsors. But I think one thing that'll be different is working with on the donation side as well. So different alumni groups from all the different sports teams at the U of R. That's a big income source for the U of R men's hockey team. There's a whole lot of SJHL alumni. Mike Eskra, he's a referee in the SJHL. He was texting me earlier today about the alumni program and what they do for the hockey team. So, this is the only job I've had out of university.
Right.
So, I'm really looking forward to a new challenge, and like having an office, I think will be cool. Just kind of been working from my kitchen from the last 4 years, and the office is wherever my laptop is. But I think it'll be pretty similar to this role, and I think there's a lot of transferable skills that I've learned over the last 4 years that I can take to the U of R.
That's good. Yeah, for sure. Obviously, I've got so many things to say to you and to ask you, and we could talk about. This could be a 10-hour episode too, probably. But again, we won't. But I got to ask you. It's the same. I know for Kyle. Honestly, it's the same for me. Like, this has never been just a job for you. Like, I could tell from your intern days right away. Like, it was never just about getting the job done and punching the clock and going home. Like, you were always so passionate about the SJHL, about the game. I guess just talk about maybe sort of that part of you that never just saw this as a way to pay the bills, I guess, but something that was really a calling, I guess, for you to help this league out.
I kind of always thought so. When I went into after high school, I did a couple years of sales. I did electrical wholesale sales, and I sold cars for about a year, and I always I enjoyed the sales part, but when you do something that you love, it doesn't really feel like a job. And I always kind of wanted, like when I went to university, I wanted to be able to sell sports, and then I realized selling sponsorships is a huge part of every level of athletics. I was just in Vegas at a Golden Knights game, and like all the corporate sponsorships, it's crazy, like the amount of but like honestly, every day, because we're working in hockey, like it's really it's a dream come true, and it truly has been a dream come true over the last 4 years, and all the people like working beside you and Clark for the last 4 years, you just kind of every difficult phone call that you have to make really isn't all that difficult to make. It's because, hey, we're talking hockey anyways. It's easy to be passionate about such a great league, but also, you guys do such a good job on these shows. Your passion rubs off on everybody. We got the best fans in junior hockey. We're the most visible junior hockey league in maybe the world, in Canada for sure. You make it contagious, and you boys, everyone, Kyle, the board of governors, the coaches, it just kind of made it easy to be passionate about it.
That's fair. Really cool to hear that. Yeah, thanks very much. Clark and I are doing our best to tell you that, and the boys in the back too. Yeah, they're the one. We're the talking monkeys. They're the real smart ones. So,
and shout out to Jeremy Corrigan and Rory as well, Rory McGoran, for obviously putting all the work that they put into this side of it as well. I know we're getting off topic, but I just wanted to give those guys a shout.
Well, they deserve it, and Paul Drouin, obviously.
The whole IKS media team here. When I was kind of first hired, Kyle and I had a discussion about how our social media and our media presence, how important that is. And one of the first things I kind of said was, like, admittedly, I'm not a very big social media guy. We're gonna have to outsource that, and IKS Media and Paul Drouin and everybody behind the scenes here. This whole office has been unbelievable to work with. And you guys make my job easy, honestly. With all the content being able to put out. makes it easy.
Well, it's good. You make our job exist, so perfect. I got to ask you too about your relationship with Kyle McIntyre. Obviously, you mentioned he hired you, and obviously his vision for the direction where the league should be spending the money that you're raising is a big reason. As I was joking there, like, but seriously, why we all are doing all this and why this all exists. But talk about maybe your relationship with Kyle and maybe what you've learned from him.
He's been like awesome to work with. Like, you know, he's kind of formed into like, he's almost like a second father to me a little bit now. Like,
he's that fun uncle.
Yeah, I guess. You know, obviously him living in Swift Current, me living in Regina. You know, over the last 4 years, you know, 365 times 4. Like, me and him talk on the phone pretty well every single day. And you know how Kyle is. A quick phone call question for you ends up, holy cow, it was 45 minutes. So, you know, it's been, you know, a great working relationship with Kyle. And I thought, you know, when we first started, we both had a similar vision for, you know, what had to be done. And I was actually talking with the chairman of the board, Kyle Adamson, a couple days ago. He gave me a call. And, you know, he was saying, you know, we have accomplished, you know, about 85% of the goals that we've set out, you know, when Kyle and I were hired. I think, you know, obviously Kyle and I took over after a year of COVID when there's no hockey going on. Like, obviously there's a lot of things to pick up and a lot of different eggs to move around. And I think, you know, me personally, I'm really proud of the job that I've done. And that's all because of the commissioner, Kyle McIntyre. Awesome guy to work with. Nobody's more passionate about the SJHL than Kyle McIntyre. You know, me and him, we challenge each other who can go to more games per year. So, you know, he's very visible in the rinks, and you know, I think he's been, you know, probably the best thing to happen to the SJHL in a long time is his leadership and his guidance. And you know, I'll always use him as a professional reference and a resource. And you know, he's, you know, like I just can't say enough about him.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, kind of, Jacob, in the last 4 years, my biggest achievement and accomplishment with this league has just been able to put the league on the map a little bit more, give these players coverage, and again, all that has a lot to do with everything you and Kyle have kind of driven from behind the scenes. Because obviously, like, me and Nugsy and Rory and Jeremy were on camera doing the on-camera promotion and coverage, but behind the scenes, all the driving was being done literally by you and Kyle.
Well, this guy was literally being driven by this guy literally. Quite often up to Flin Flon and back 100 times.
I think I can speak for a lot of the fans who are tuning in to say thank you and appreciate everything you've done, and we look forward to hearing what you do next. And do you want to help us kind of finish off the show just looking at the schedule?
Let's do it.
Okay, and also, before you go, I'm getting your prediction on who you think is going to be the champion this year.
Oh, I know the answer to this. Everybody out there knows the answer to this.
I have a feeling.
Okay, well, he can make his own. I'm not going to put words in his mouth.
But let's have a look first at the upcoming schedule for the week. We'll look at Tuesday. Nipawin's going to be in Battlefords. That's going to be a huge game. That is a huge game. Because if I'm not mistaken, if I look at the standings, okay, they can't. But Battlefords is 3 points back in Nipawin, so they could move up ahead of Estevan if they get a win in this game. So that's a big game. Nipawin obviously doesn't want to let that happen. They want to get closer to Weyburn. They're in third place right now. Weyburn's in second. On Wednesday, one more game.
Let Jacob do it.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to go ahead?
Okay, on Wednesday, you know, a rematch of the last SJHL game I went to as a member of the SJHL, Larange, going up to... Is the home team on the right, probably?
Oh, yeah.
So Larange going up to Flin Flon.
We have Thursday, too, if you want to call for Thursday.
Okay, yeah, sure, yeah. And two games on Thursday. I've never been on this side of the desk.
I know, it's not as easy as it looks.
Yeah, Weyburn, Battlefords, and one thing I'll remember, just side note, was the year that Battlefords was an absolute wagon when they won. You know, Weyburn was the 8th seed. And Weyburn won game 1, and everyone's like, "What the heck?" So that's and then, you know, a rematch of last year's playoff series as well. Was that game 7 or would have been game 6? That was in Battlefords. That was an unbelievable game. I was lucky enough to be there.
Mr. Daza was ridiculous that series.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And then Melville heading west to Kindersley to wrap up the midweek games.
There you go. There you go. Thank you, Jacob.
That was awesome. Well done.
All right. So prediction time.
So it's funny. I told Nugsy. Obviously, Kyle knew that I was taking this role a few weeks ago, and I told Nugsy on the way up. But the only other person I told was Mike Reagan. Me and Mike have been pretty close over the last few years. And he says to me, he's like, "You're leaving before I win a ship, Faither." And I said, "I'm leaving so you can win a ship."
That's what it is.
Because he's been snake bitten ever since I came into the league. So I'm hoping that. I want to say I was a curse, but the number one seed in the SJ. Don't want to upset obviously my friends in Weyburn, and it's great seeing the comeback or revival that the Nipawin Hawks have had this year. And I know I'll hear from Gibby and Kindersley calling me a homer or whatnot, but
you can be whatever you want to be now.
But I'll tell you what, obviously with being in Regina, if it's anything like last year and there's playoff games in Weyburn. Road dogs aren't dead yet.
Well,
you can hop in the passenger seat. And,
just because you don't have just as you don't have the title doesn't mean you're not invited to come with us if we're going somewhere.
I still have the pass.
Yeah, there you go. So, the funny joke you could have said to Mike was if he said you're leaving before I want to ship, and you could have said, "Well, I don't want to have to wait forever, Mike." Now that's a joke that only Mike Reagan would appreciate, and he knows that I'm kidding, obviously, with that. Yeah, but that could have been something.
Well, the three Bombers won the gold medal at the Viking Cup, so
yeah. Now, again,
so the answer to your question, you're saying you're predicting.
All the Flin Flon fans are going to come at me now, but of course I'm saying that in jest.
Shout out to Nugsy, unbelievable job all week at the Viking Cup.
One more shout out
I was down south celebrating New Year's with my dad, and we tuned into one of the Viking Cup games, and it took me about 1 second. And I said, "Who's doing color with Nugsy?" And sure enough, it was Mike Reagan on the broadcast with Nugsy,
right.
and
he was awesome.
I thought just the visibility that you brought to that tournament, and congratulations to you and all the boys that participated. Team Sash, Drew Kosher, Turner, Rick Oakes. Unbelievable job.
Thank you.
Okay, Jake, I'm going to put you on the spot one more time.
Okay.
Because it's your job. I'm going to let you thank the sponsors.
Okay.
Okay, so can we put the sponsor graphic up? I have the list if you want to read it, but you can see the sponsors up there too.
UPL. Behind me,
UPL.
they came on a couple years ago, and the official presenting sponsor of everything that we do here at the IKS Media Studios, SJHL Weekly, SJHL Insiders, Tony, Trent, Trish, UPL, top notch. Cantera Seeds, as the cup sponsor. Cantera Seeds was one of the first new sponsors that I signed, and everybody at Cantera Seeds has been unbelievable.
So good.
And come playoff time, UPL and Cantera Seeds, they'll be doing a ton of stuff. And I guess a reminder to the commissioner, we got to figure out what to do. We might be getting a new cup because the old one, that's for another.
That's behind the scenes.
Yeah, I guess that's not my problem anymore. Canalta Hotels, the official hotel of the SJHL. I've stayed at every Canalta in
all
the
your road
province,
reports.
The Canalta Road.
Loved it.
Those were some good times. And too bad we couldn't get one from the hot tub in Melfort.
Yeah, that was our plan. It was under construction.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
We would have had to put a PG-13.
We were robbed.
Logo up there.
We were robbed.
Capital Auto Group, Jay and Rob here in Regina, unbelievable guys. Trade deadline coming up. The official trade sponsor, and about a month ago I bought a new truck from Capital. Great guys. If you need a vehicle, mention the SJHL. What is that? I think an extra $1,000 on your
off.
trade.
Yeah, just say the words SJHL.
There you
letters,
go.
and you get
SGEU. Been working with them since since day one. They were a sponsor since before my time. MVP sponsor, unreal. SAS Lotteries. The SAS Lotteries look back. Mavis up there in Saskatoon, appreciate kind of everything that SAS Lotteries does for the SJHL. Already mentioned UPL. Chevrolet, the official highlight sponsor, all the highlights that go out every day, the official truck of the SJHL, the Chevy Silverado. Great Western 016, James Mueller, Scott Henberry, Dan, Chris, there's so many to name. Buck up there in the north. Buck's probably at the Bears Den right now in Gronlid. The official beer of the SJHL.
Selfishly, they're one of my favorites.
They're unbelievable, and a brand new brewery in Saskatoon.
Get a gluten-free beer.
Those guys have been unbelievable to work with. Very much appreciate them. SaskTel, Michelle and Jodine at SaskTel. Then obviously with Rusty and Bamboo coming to help us do the SaskTel Games of the Month. It's been great. The RBC Community Ambassador, the RBC Game Nights, I think started last week or yesterday.
Nice.
And there'll be a lot of RBC content. And the RBC Community Ambassador is back. So be sure to stay focused on that. The Sask Construction Safety Association, one of my favorite memories was going out to Weyburn and shooting that commercial.
A really cool commercial.
With Dazza Mitchell and a couple other Red Wings and Cody Mapes. That was a lot of fun. And then the Coach of the Year award for that interview we did with Blevins last year was a lot of fun. And then Vaderstad was the official sponsor of the Viking Cup. They had the Vaderstad logo, and Chase Wilson and his team at Vaderstad have been great to work with. First year working with Vaderstad. Now there's another 20 sponsors that I guess aren't mentioned on that graphic that.
Palliser Insurance.
Yeah, Palliser. Yeah, just kind of blanking on them right now. There's kind of all the lights, all the cameras. But just especially all the sponsors.
IKS Media.
Our goal at the SJHL is to make the SJHL the most visible and premier junior hockey league in Canada, and we couldn't do it without the corporate support.
Sure.
Just thank you to everybody. Thanks to you guys.
Well, thank you, Jacob. You made my job a little easier to end the show.
Happy to help.
Thank you.
Okay.
Nugsy, final words to you for the week coming up.
I'm going to miss Jacob.
I'll miss you, buddy.
I'll see you at the gym all the time.
Pleasure of a lifetime. Truly a pleasure of a lifetime.
And the Viking Cup was super fun.
Love it.
Yes, it was.
All right, well, we got a few games coming up midweek, and then a busy weekend coming up with the trade deadline. So Thursday's episode of SJHL Insider, if you're a trade fan, is going to be a must-watch. And shout out to Capital Automotive Group for sponsoring the trade. So we'll talk about that a whole lot more on Thursday. Until then, enjoy the hockey this week, everybody. See you, Jacob. And bye for now, folks. We'll see you on Thursday.
That'll do it. Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, I'd say that'll do it. Yeah, I'd say that would do it.